Why do we suffer at the hands of these politicians? Don't you know politicians work for you? You're the boss. You hire them and you fire them. Look at their campaign. You know what they do? They audition.
Yeah!
When you put them on the job, if they're not doing the job, then you fire them. Because you're in control. From the city to the state to Congress to the president. You run this.
Hello, Talk Labor family. We're back again. This is Jerry Williams, and I'm your host, of course, here at Talk Labor. And what we do is we look out for the working class, the union workers, the people that make the difference here in America. You got to stand up for yourself, though. You cannot sit on your butt and think that somebody's going to take care of this stuff for you, because they're not. And if you don't do it, sorry for you. I'm going to take care of me and mine. I'm going to give you as many avenues as I can so that you can take care of yours. But if you don't do it, that's going to be on you. Now, one of the things about unions, and I will get to the middle class workers in a minute, but one of the things about union, next year, unions are in for a rude awakening. Been talking about this for years and years and years. We got so comfortable. I guess what happens is this. When unions came into existence and start fighting for you and going on strike, making sure that you have livable wages and holidays and 8-hour days and all this stuff was garnered by unions. You've gotten so comfortable now till you're like, well, we don't really need a union. I mean, I don't care, and I'm not going to get out there and work like I should. I'm not going to get out there and push and vote to make sure I put people in office that are pro-union. You've gotten to a point now that not only did you not do that, because union went from 36% of the working people in America down to 6%. It's all because of you. You sit on your butts and didn't do it. Now, if you think that's just words and talk, and I hate to just jump on you all the time, but I got to tell you these things. Watch what happens next year when this bill or this suit gets to before the Supreme Court, where they're going to say that companies are not obligated to take out union dues anymore. If a union want to have a union, you got to go around and collect the union dues. Now, what'll happen is this. Even the people that don't pay their union dues, if you have a union there, you have to represent them. This is the way the bill is constructed. My big concern is this. Once people find out they don't have to pay union dues, they're not going to pay. And you cannot have a functioning union if you don't have the finances to do that. So you got to find a way to get that, to combat that. Now, I have some great ideas, but I'm not a union anymore. I'm retired. Don't mean I don't continue to work. I continue to do other things like the Infinite Scholar Program, where I work with kids. We give out like $12 to $19 million a year in scholarships. I work with them. I work with the young people that's starting up, got startups like the SOC, Symphony of Change, the Promise Program with young kids in school. This is what I do, try to educate these kids, because it's going to be their turn in a minute. Now, you millennials, you all got to get on your butt. You got to really step it up. I like what you're doing when you're out there fighting, but you got to know where you're going. You got to know where you're going. We can scream and holler all day. We can talk about this was not good and that's not good. But if you don't get behind the people that make the difference, you can say goodbye. Say goodbye. Now, one other thing about you guys, and I'm going to want to stay on this too long. One other thing about this. I hear a lot of times when you're watching television, the news and all that, they're always saying things like, well, they're both bad. When they say both, I'm talking about Republicans and Democrats. No. You don't see Republicans out there trying to fight for your health care. You don't see Republicans out there trying to make sure that you got a livable wage. You don't see Republicans out there trying to make sure that you got Medicare and Social Security when you get old. They are trying to take it away from you now. You don't see Republicans out there really trying to cut your taxes. They're raising your taxes so they can cut the rich. Taxes for their conglomerates. All the things that you see, and I said this before, if I'm wrong, call me and tell me. Show me. Show me any significant bill that the Republicans have put in and passed that favors the working man or woman. They don't do it. So when the media try to tell you, well, they're all the same, and you get out there and say, I ain't going to vote because they're all the same, that's stupid. Don't do that. That's what they want you to do. Don't be like that. Okay? So you got to get out there and you got to be smart. I have a brother that he talks, we talk all the time. He fight back and forth. He says, well, I don't like either the Republican or the Democrats, and you just believe in the Democrats. And no, I believe in people that work for us. When we go and vote, I expect that person to cast my vote and do what I think is correct. The group of us, okay? So you got to get smart and you got to stay smart. And don't be lazy. Don't sit back and say, well, I'm just go to sleep. I don't want to do anything. Because when you wake, you might not wake up. You might not wake up. It's not a joke. You see the clown that you got in there now? It's something I couldn't, you'd never believe happened. Here's a guy that says, I'm above the law. I can do anything. He jumped out there and said it. I can shoot somebody in the middle of Times Square. And they would still support me. They, meaning him and his Klux Klansmen, would support. Those people would support him. People keep saying, this is what bothers me too. I'm going to go a little bit off track a little bit, but people keep saying that the reason why this guy's in office because white people felt left out. And this is why they went to the extreme. That is a lie. They went to the extreme because they didn't like that black man being in there as president. They want to go back to the days when they can just murder Negroes and nobody say anything about it. Because the police try to do that now. Just like the kid Trayvon Martin. I mean, all the murders and stuff. They want to go back to those days. The Groveland Four. I'm gonna run a documentary on that, where he murdered these 4 young men in Florida, a year after I was born, and they had nothing to do with anything that they were charged with. But it's just the idea, I can murder you, and what you gonna do about it? And everybody knows that these kids didn't do anything. But you got to stay on top of these things. They want to get America back to. People say, he said, I want to get our country back. I want our country back. And again, I want our country back again. That's ridiculous. Some people say that he's saying, I want to make our country white again. That's not it either. That's not it either. What they are saying, him and these hate people are saying, I want to make our country savage again. And that's the way they were. Because before we came into existence, before we were hauled over here on these ships, they were treating the Irish people. That was the Negro. That was the nigger, not Negro, because Negro just means black. They were doing the same thing to the Italian people. These savages were. Not, and I don't go in that, well, I hate all white people. No. You got great white people. Or people that we call white. These were savages. It's what they did to the Indians. And they put on the TV screen or the movie screen like the Indians riding through the thing and they just riding up there and becoming targets and everybody just shooting them and killing them. That's not the way it worked. They gave them these disease blankets and The Indians trusted these savages, and they just would have just murdered and killed. Not all white people, just your savages. And some people turn their back. And if you turn your back on it and pretend like it's not happening, you're just as bad as they are. You're just as bad as they are. So I'm going to be fighting with you, as much as I can with the labor situation, but it's going to be left up to you. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take a break right about here, and we're going to come back, and we're going to talk about how we want to go about this and the coalition. I'll be right back. Okay, we're back, and I just got to preaching to you. I had to get on my pedestal and preach to you about what you need to do. And one of the things about it, I'm not afraid to say it. I'll say it, I'll tell you, and I'm going to continue to tell you. Always been like that ever since I was a kid. You guys tell me, Jerry, shut up. I'll shut up for a minute, but I'm going to tell you. And people learn to expect that from me, and they should learn to expect it from you too. Now, speaking of the coalition, I tell you about this coalition all the time. This is what we have with the pensioners that work at Chicago Transit Authority. We formed a coalition, and I'm going to give you a heck of a lot more on that as we, progress and go forward. I like the idea that we started off with 2, 3 guys, then 4 or 5 guys, then 100 people, then 200. Now we're up to 500 people. And we're steady moving forward because we're looking to do 5,000. 5,000. We're not going to let anybody sway us from what our purpose are, and that is to protect our pension plan. It used to be when you retired, you retired this week and you might live a year or two and you die. I mean, that's just a fact. I had one brother, he retired, and damn if he didn't die the next week. He didn't even get a chance to put his wife on there as a beneficiary to get his pension. He died the next week. Well, you're living a hell of a lot longer now. I've got a guy that's been retired for 30-some years. So you got to look out for yourself. You got to look out for yourself, and we're going to make sure that they don't try to come and steal our money again. You all know about the lawsuit, and just went to court on that, and it's getting ready to wrap up. I'll keep you up on that, but you're going to get full information when we have a meeting with the coalition, and we're going to have that in January. So I'll bring you up to date on everything that's going on. We'll tell you when and where. We got coalition members' numbers. So if you want to be a member of this coalition, I want you to look up Brother Claude Funches, who's the president from Local 241, retiree, Benny Rogers, vice president, Ronald Roach, who's the treasurer, Tommy Little, who is the assistant treasurer, and of course Suzette Smith, who is the secretary. Beautiful person, Suzette. So I want you to look them up. Or you can send your information to talklabor@gmail.com. We'll reach right back out to you. Okay? But one other thing I want you to do, folks. I want you to pick up that book that I wrote, Ungrateful, The Rise and Fall of Labor Unions. You're going to see a lot of the stuff that I said in the book is now happening. Pick up Ungrateful, The Rise and Fall of Labor Unions by Jerry Williams. You're going to see a lot of everything that I tell you about now, I was telling you back then. I was talking about how they're going to destroy the Republican Party. I was watching that. I was saying it way back in 2007, even before I wrote the book, when Barack Obama was running for president. I said, don't get rid of the Republican Party. And they used the teabaggers to do it. They used people to destroy themselves. Here's some guys that, well, I'm not going to get into that. You see it every day on television, but don't get caught up in this. They're all the same, and the Democrats, I don't want to hear that garbage. I don't want to hear that garbage. We're going to move to another topic. And we're going to, well, let me do this. We're going to take a break and come right back. Then we're going to move to another topic that I think we need to really, really pay close attention to. So we're going to be right back.
As tyrants take control of democracies, they typically do 7 things. Number 1, they exaggerate their mandate to govern, claiming, for example, that they won an election by a landslide, even after losing the popular vote, criticize any finding that they or co-conspirators stole the election, and repeatedly claim massive voter fraud in the absence of any evidence in order to have an excuse to restrict voting by opponents in subsequent elections. Number 2, they turn the public against journalists or media outlets that criticize them, calling them deceitful and scum, holding few, if any, press conferences. Instead, they communicate with the public directly through mass rallies and unfiltered statements. Number 3, they repeatedly lie to the public, causing the public to doubt the truth and to believe fictions that support the tyrant's goals. Fourth, they blame economic stresses on immigrants or racial or religious minorities and foment public bias or even violence against them, threaten mass deportations, registries of religious minorities, and the banning of refugees. Fifth, call anyone who opposes them an enemy and hit back hard at them, questioning their motives or their character, attribute acts of domestic violence to enemies within, and use such events as excuses to beef up internal security and limit civil liberties. Number 6, they appoint family members to high positions of authority, appoint their own personal security force rather than a security detail accountable to the public, and they put generals into top civilian posts. Finally, number 7, they keep their personal finances secret and draw no distinction between personal property and public property, profiteering from their public office. Consider yourself warned.
Okay, we're back, and as I promised you, we're going to go to a topic, and this topic is what's going on with the accusations and the situation with women and men in the workplace and just everywhere, and how these guys are they're being accused of sexually molesting people, and some of them are losing their jobs, and if you did sexually molest someone, I think you should lose your job. I really do. But I'm thinking it's getting a little far-fetched now. First of all, the Republicans, they don't give a damn. Yeah, well, we sexually molest, and we molest little girls, and so what? Roy Moore, Donald Trump, and these guy people, so what? Democrats, if it happened, we apologize, and we shouldn't do it again. You have people that resign. Okay, understand that. We resign. They resign. But where does it end? I mean, where does actual molestation come in as opposed to I want to talk to you? And the reason I'm asking this question, I saw all the situation with Al Franken, John Conyers. Democrats did apologize. Hey, I'm going to move forward and blah, blah, blah. This Roy Moore guy and the Trump guy. But I saw the one with Russell Simmons. And, okay, what happened? Young lady said that Russell Simmons took her to dinner, okay? And then he coerced me to come to his apartment. Okay. Then he coerced me into having sex with him. Okay. But I really didn't want it. Didn't like, wait a minute. Wait. You went to dinner with him, and he coerced you into, coerced? Did he twist your arm and hurt you? No. Did he rape you? No. But he coerced me into. In that case, you probably can put every male in America in jail, because this is the only way you're gonna. How are you gonna have sex if you don't try to coerce or try to get the person to have sex with you? You can't make them do it, but you can ask. And another thing about this now, and don't get me wrong, because I don't believe in men raping women. Nope. But another thing about this, I think it's going to start backfiring, because what men are going to start doing now is hiring men, because they don't want to get caught up in this. You know, you come in and all you got to do is say, he groped me. I don't care how he tried to defend it. I don't care. Hey, you get you 2 or 3 women to say it, and dude gone. So I'm being a little contrary to what's going on, but I'm watching you. We going a little too far now. You're going a little fast. Going a little bit fast. Women that really happened to, like with Roy Moore, I believe the women. And with Al Franken, I believe the women. With John Conyers, I don't know. I have to check it out. Okay? But with some of the others, the stars, I believe them. But let's don't go too far with that, because once that pendulum swing so far, it's going to come back the other way. So let's be sensible about this, and let's don't get caught up in the fracas. Okay? So you can write me at talklabor@gmail.com if you disagree with me. Okay, so we're going to take one more break, and then we're going to come back and got a little something for you.
Okay. 5, 4, 3, 2.
Hey, you know what? I got a little something for you. I want you to take a look at this clip with John Hastings, congressman out of Florida. This was so cool.
And 36 states said no deal.
Yeah.
So that's the problem. It's because the administration hit the ball. Had the administration worked with the governors, we might be talking about an entirely different.
Had the administration worked with the governors, had the governors worked with the administration, we might not be in this position. I don't know about in your state, which I think is a crazy state to begin with, and I mean that just as I said it.
Sure.
Yeah, nigga, we still fucking with you. Still waters run deep. Still slip up.
Hastings just straight up messed with Texas. That's the one thing Texas wants everyone not to do. Where's this ballsy young man from anyway?
The gentleman from Florida is recognized.
Fine, then you don't have to listen. You can leave if you choose. I told you what I think about Texas. I wouldn't live there for all the tea and china.
Still Dre Day, nigga. AK, nigga. Though I've grown a lot, can't keep it home a lot. Cause when I frequent the spots that I've known to rock, you hear the bass from the truck when I'm on the beat.
He's crushing this dude.
That I need to say that as a member of Congress, I'm used to attacks and invective being tossed my way. That's part and parcel of the territory. But there is no reason at all to impugn the people, the governor of a state of this country. And I will await the gentleman's apology. And I yield back.
You will wait until hell freezes over.
Nigga, my last album was the front. They wanna know if you still got it. They say raps change. They wanna know how I feel about it. Dr. Dre is the name. I'm ahead of my game.
This Congressman Hastings truly does not give a
On the show. And you're going to want to see them, because these are going to be the people of the coalition, and they're going to give you information as to where you need to contact them at. Okay, and we're going to talk, a big portion is going to be about the lawsuit that we filed, and I'm so happy we were very successful so far. And the coalition itself, where you can stand on your own 2 feet. But we're going to leave you with this. And I tell you this all the time. You know, you go back and look at your history and look at your people back then. Take a look at this. It's a little piece with Duke Ellington and the Cotton Club, and some of the people that frequent the Cotton Club and stuff like that. You millennials and you young people, you think you were dancing. Now, check out these people and check out the musicians. They were so tight, so tight. But in the meantime, I'm going to say this to you. This is Jerry Williams from Talk Labor. And don't forget, next week, we're going to have our guest on. This is Jerry Williams from Talk Labor. And we're going to be looking to talk to you again next week. Don't forget, talklabor@gmail.com. Okay? Signing off. See you then.
That's a wrap.
Okay. The clips are, with that clip with